Oh wow, that's a nice bright red. So the reason they actually put my face on the first slide is you know that pretty much every slide from here is going to be prettier. Quick introductions, I'm Ashish. I head tech product and digital marketing at PolicyBazaar. So all the cool stuff or every bit of disaster depending on the day. My topic today is marketing in the age of aggregators and marketplace and how marketing has changed from the objective of getting eyeballs to actually being the balls of the business. I'm not sure if I was supposed to use that word. But yeah, so in the age of marketing, aggregation, marketplaces, what's happened is production constraints are no longer there. And therefore, you can sell pretty much whatever you can get a customer for. If you look at the traditional models and how the marketing approach, you pretty much had a product. I think this talks about an Italian restaurant. And you kind of decided that, hey, I have an Italian restaurant. Now let me find the consumers for it. Let me see the people who would be interested in my kind of food, my kind of genre. And you pretty much understood the offerings. You estimated what kind of production you could do. And consequently, you went on to market in appropriate places and get the appropriate kind of customers. Now that's turned completely around with the modern economics. Because now what's happened is we've all become food courts. You have a bunch of customers that you have access to. And the question really isn't whether you can sell your product to them. The question really is, can you kind of understand what the customer wants and basis that source what you can supply? So you actually flip the cards as they were, and you actually understand the customer first. You estimate what kind of traffics you can generate, and based on that, you actually do your sourcing. I'll give you an example of our own place. We started as an insurance company. We were an insurance market aggregator. We started with motor, general insurance. We went on to life. Now, every time we said we had a bunch of customers, what more can we sell to them? And that's how other company, which is PolicyBazaar, actually started. We started doing credit cards. We started doing loans. Now we're doing mutual funds. And that's become more and more marketing generated. It's not been driven by a product manager. It's not been driven just by a business development guy. It's been driven by everybody coming in and saying, hey, I can get access to these kind of customers. This is what my customer also wants. And if you saw the tone of a few presentations today, you'll see that they keep talking about listening to the customer. And that's exactly what marketing in the age of marketplaces and aggregators is. What more can I do with the customer? How can I make a customer happier? And marketing actually often becomes a starting point for a business and not really the last mile. So modern marketing tools are moving away from creatives, conceptualization. All of that is important. But what's happening more and more is that all your analytics, all your ability to listen to your customer, all your ability to churn data, all your ability to take meaningful insights from that data are actually becoming very, very important. So some of our best friends at PolicyBazaar are Google Analytics, are custom event loggers, and business intelligence tools such as Sisense. And I'll give you an illustration of what I mean as a practical example. Our business is India-centric. We predominantly focus on the Indian consumer. As we kind of sliced and diced data, the marketing guy had a challenge that he had to continuously improve the ROI that we were doing in our marketing spends. And he kept slicing and dicing data, saying, where is my spend working better? Where is it not working? And this little gem came out of that analysis, which was basically that Indians who were in, let's say, the Middle East or other parts of the world still needed to do investments back in India. These guys were converting at 4x had 4x the ticket size, were converting at 2.5 times the conversion rate. Anybody who can do basic math knows that's about 10x revenue per lead. Within 6 months, this segment was about 25% of our entire investment portfolio at PolicyBazaar. Now that's massive. That's a 25% growth within 6 months of a segment that practically did not exist. And this segment came about because there was a sales head who was willing to explore this segment, and there was a marketing head who actually said that this segment works better. Why don't we just expand it? So, more and more business planning inputs are coming from marketing. Marketing is becoming core of the strategic initiatives. And I think that's the leverage that you have. The impact overall of this over the last 2 years, and I know these are more numeric slides, I won't get too much into this, but if you will notice, the impact is our ROI used to be 71%, it's gone to 143%, which basically means that for every 100 rupees we spend in our digital marketing, we today get 143 rupees of revenue. And that's happened when the scale has gone up from 1 to 2.4x. Now, I mean, you guys are all marketing geniuses much better than I have. I'm new to this domain. But you'll understand that as you scale up, to continuously take your ROIs up is an incredibly difficult task to do. And most of this task is being driven by giving a marketing a free hand, not only in terms of the advertising they're doing, in terms of the customers they're reaching out to, but also in terms of them going to the floor and say, you will create a team to help my NRI. And the sales guys are obviously more than happy to participate in this because this is far better revenues for everybody. And that's kind of the impact that we are seeing. So what about the future? We talked a lot about, listening to the customer. We are a call center driven business. We are an assisted sales business. We have about 35 million minutes of talk time every month. Aggregated, we have about 1 billion minutes of talk time. That's kind of like a data gold mine for us. The unfortunate part is that we utilize less than 1% of our recording. Somebody manually hears it, there's a quality team, sometimes a supervisor listens to a call. That's literally like taking a gold mine and then growing tomatoes on top. That's not what you want to do. If you have a gold mine, you better start digging. You do not want to grow vegetables on top of a gold mine. That's a complete waste. And that's where most of our tech, most of our effort is now going in, as to how do we listen to what our customer is saying, how do we analyze that, how do we get insights from that, and then how do we run experiments like the NRI experiment I mentioned to get more and more results out of this. So here's actually a conversation. This is actually a voice recording that has been translated, that has been transcribed rather using our technology. We've built a couple of AI algorithms. I'm happy to share some of the details. I think it'll get too techy if I get into the details, but there's a Baidu paper supported by the Mozilla Foundation that we used as a basis, and then we put our own spin on it. This is an actual conversation. So the audio recording was processed through the engine. And you see some very cool stuff here. Pankaj is speaking to Prakash. The topic is health insurance. The people for whom this is being asked for is, for me, my wife, father, mother. Father and mother do not have any diseases, and you also know that the customer is looking for a very simple product. He does not want bells and whistles. He wants a very simple product, which is where he says, "Aur kuch nahi, bas normal cover chahiye." Now, this is fabulous. I mean, for us, this is fantastic because we've never been able to see this level of data. These recordings were there in a silo that were never accessed. And as a result, what's happening is now our brain cells are working. The marketing guy is saying, how can I use this to target the right kind of customers? How can I use this to create new business verticals? And what all can I do with this? We're still very early stage into this. We've just built the engine, but I'll give you an example of what this has already led to. Okay, too much on a slide, but if you'll notice, I don't know if you guys can read that, but that yellow circle actually says cashless. Now, this is a word cloud of everything that was said by the customer. And the word cashless actually struck us hard because we didn't expect our customers to be talking about cashless. We expected them to be talking about claims, bonuses, coverage, all of that, but we never expected them to be talking about cashless. The moment we realized this, we were able to see what the actual conversation was. You'll find people actually saying stuff like, I don't want freebies, I actually want a cashless transaction, I'm willing to pay a premium, and all of that. Now, the insight this gave us was fabulous because the first thing we did when we looked at this is we came back and said, okay, let us improve our product. Our product itself does not show the cashless network. And within about 10 days, we actually launched a feature on the site that would actually give the customers the cashless network for the policies they were looking at. So early days yet in terms of adoption and making it profitable for us, but very, very cool, very, very insightful. And I hope we can do more and more stuff around it. So that's me. In case anybody wants to reach out to me, we'll be happy to share some of our information with you. Thank you so much.